Hey, good morning. I just wanted to talk briefly about. I think most of us have heard it. Some of us know it better than others, but and so I think all of us kind of know it. If we do attempt to research it, discover it, and apply it somehow into our lives, we all know it in kind of a unique way, and it's that anatomy inside is called the pineal gland. And I'm just going to talk briefly about some of the anatomy about it, some of the science behind it, especially quantum physics, and kind of a little spiritual axiom that you can really find a lot of the mainstream kind of, everybody wants the law of attraction and manifesting their dreams and all these things, and how if you take a deeper look at how the pineal gland can be an integral part in helping us to uncover some of the science behind that. And actually, the more we discover how to apply that science in our own way, the relevance we see it has in actually manifesting the things that we consciously attempt to. Briefly, the pineal gland is this small peanut-sized shaped gland that's located inside one of the ventricles in the brain. It's actually in the third ventricle. There's 4 ventricles in the brain. And the ventricles do a lot of things, but one of the things that they do inside the brain is they store cerebrospinal fluid. And cerebrospinal fluid not only is stored inside the brain, but it surrounds the brain. It's covered, it's encapsulated by what's called the meninges, which is this kind of little skin-like covering over it, and it surrounds our spinal cord. And most of you people already know this. I'm not telling you something you don't know. I'm just trying to kind of set the stage or whatever stuff. But there's anatomy inside the pineal gland that are these certain crystals that have a very technical name. But what they imply, these crystals, is that they have the ability to create what's called a piezoelectric field. And a piezoelectric field is simply a way to manifest electricity by using external elements and forces, especially forces. So, and the cerebral spinal fluid and the contents that's inside it are key factors that allow for a piezoelectric field to take place. So, learning how to breathe in a certain way that causes a movement of the cerebrospinal fluid through the pineal gland over the crystals, exerting pressure, will create this electrical field. And so as I talk about this, you'll notice that you'll see how this illustration kind of incorporates, like you'll see it in yoga, you see it in some of your spiritual practices, you'll see it actually in a linear way, thought of a lot differently in different ways. But the process is what I'm talking about. The process transcends a lot of these things. So as we breathe and we take a deep breath, and we can't help but contract our muscles, especially our diaphragmatic muscles when we breathe. Our diaphragm raising up and down is what's causing our lungs to both increase and decrease in size and allowing the air process to exchange. But as we breathe and we take a deep breath, if we focus down low on our abdomen when we're breathing, and we contract those muscles, so we go and we contract those muscles. Then as we come up, we contract the chest muscles and the thorax muscles. We squeeze those, and then as we breathe in more, we kind of like squeeze along our neck or sternocleidomastoid and kind of contract that down, and then you can actually feel, as you do that, a pressure inside your brain. And that's actually causing the cerebrospinal fluid, or the intrathecal pressure on the cerebrospinal fluid. Intrathecal pressure is just a way to describe that pressure inside the meninges that's forcing the cerebrospinal fluid to actually move upwards. So as we do that, you can just recognize it's causing the cerebrospinal fluid to move upwards, goes into the ventricles, especially the third ventricle. And as we take a long, slow, deep breath outward, right, it slowly, it comes back down. So we're kind of creating a current with that. And especially at the top, when you get to the top, and you kind of hold it for a second, you hold that pressure. What you're doing when you hold that pressure, you're increasing the pressure inside the pineal gland with the cerebral spinal fluid, and that pressure with the flow plus the salts and the amino acids inside the cerebral spinal fluid is what creates that piezoelectric field. So as we do that, and say we incorporate that on a daily basis, especially in the morning and stuff, we create this piezoelectric field. And at the same time, the pineal gland has a direct effect on serotonin and melatonin release. There's a lot of different things there. They're part of the circadian cycle, and they affect our sleep and our awareness and things like that. But they also have a very profound effect on the piezoelectric field and the energy that we produce or able to manipulate by how we secrete those hormones. And that's why it's especially important in the evening and the morning time to do that, because there's optimal times for those hormones to be released. And you don't need to understand this whole process of in-depth anatomy and physiology, but just realize, if you do some of these techniques that you'll probably do on your own anyway, if you do this in the morning and evening time, you create this piezoelectric field. Well, according to quantum physics, not according, but quantum physics proves that our whole reality is based upon electromagnetic spectrum, this subatomic particles that's manifesting the reality we perceive, right? So this God thing is just this mass of electricity that's the subatomic particles that incorporates everything. Everything is made up of them, right? So as we create our own electric field, if we couple that with thoughts of positive, conscious thoughts of what we wish to accomplish in life, of our goals, of our aspirations, preferably of a benevolent nature, you can get on that view of, if you just want to be selfish in life, you're really not creating, you're not working too well at manifesting a reality that's going to benefit you, because in the end, it's going to wind up kind of hurting you. So trying to, doing this with this, benevolent nature that we wish to, not only provide for ourselves, we want to be healthy, we want to be successful, we want to have all these qualities that make for a beautiful life, but we also want to help other people have that too. So we have the seesaw effect about us that we're trying to create for us, inside us and outside us, so the same thing that we want for other people. And so as we combine that with positive thoughts, with the thoughts of what our intentions are, what are the things we want to focus on, how do we want to achieve the things we look to achieve in life, what are our goals, what are our aspirations, so we fill that time that with this piezoelectric field of this conscious intent. So our thoughts, according to quantum physics, it proves that we think in what's called a quark and a lepton. The simplest basic functions of thought are called a quark and a lepton, and they have a specific vibration and a specific energy as we think. So if we think with positive or negative nature, this quark and lepton project that nature, project that aspect through a vibration and frequency into this electric field, and then that electric field that we create about us can't help but articulate to the electrical field that manifests the reality outside of us. So it's from an unintellectual standpoint, it might sound like quack, you're a quack or something, or you're kind of out of touch with reality. But for somebody who's a little bit more in tune to themselves, to their own identity, to the own way that consciousness is manifested in reality, they can see actually a correlation between those two. And I pointed out just the way, when you're doing whatever you do, there's a lot of, almost all religions have certain breathing techniques, certain ways of kind of creating that piezoelectric field, though they may call it something different. The Holy Spirit, you might have a different name for this Holy Spirit that kind of connects me to everything and this thing. So, figure out your own vernacular, or see how your own vernacular or your own understanding of reality relates to that. And then try to put in process that at certain times of the day, my recommendation, but you figure out your own way and do what you want. And then remember that, we subconsciously think so many things that are contrary to our conscious intent. So even though we may spend a little time consciously thinking, a lot of times we mix what we consciously think with our unconscious intent. So we kind of have this positive, negative, this yin and this yang, and trying to become aware of that yin and the yang, trying to become of the unconscious aspects of our own nature that affect our conscious reality, or the reality that we experience, is pivotal to be able to turning that around. So at first that's daunting. At first it's not only daunting, it's insulting, because when we first really start to take a look at ourselves and we start to become aware of how we unconsciously think, it's not too good. It doesn't make us feel like that. It's kind of like, man, I'm not all that. I actually, I kind of have a lot of negativity about me that I kind of justify through a lot of reasons. And so that's part of the cleansing process. Is things that, in order to get to where we want to be, we have to realize where we're at. And where we're at sometimes is the problem. And the problem we allow to exist is because we ignore it. So we need to become aware of the problem inside of us in order to, have the reality you wish to want outside of us. So, like I said, in the beginning, it's kind of difficult trying to, man, this is like a big pill to swallow. I really don't know if I believe it or not and stuff. So, maybe get off the believing it, but say, hey, you know what, some of that shit makes sense. There's some kind of sense to that, and I think it might benefit me. I'm thinking if you're having this dialogue with yourself, we all have these dialogues with ourselves, hey, is this something I really want to do? Well, think about it, there's a lot of science and there's a lot of common sense that really makes this kind of resonate. So put it into your practice. Say, you know what, man, for 30 days, I'm going to do this religiously, and especially when I don't want to do it. When you don't want to do it is when an unconscious mind is trying to override your conscious intent. So again, I say, you know what, the hell with you, unconscious mind. I'm doing it. I said I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it and keep doing it. I hope that kind of spurs you a little bit, because I talk like that. I'm not talking to you. This is how I talk to myself, because I have to be hard on myself, because I want the most for my life. I don't want to waste this life, and life is about opportunity. The conscious choices we get to make this life everything that we possibly could. I hope that you have a good day today. I hope you're reading this, if you're listening to this, that it helps you. And I thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time. And if you get a chance to give a comment, tell me how you think it's working out. I would take the time to read it and absolutely reply to you. So I wish you guys all the best. Have a great day. Bye.